Good morning, all. Protocol established. However, I cannot stand here without saying a special good morning to Honorable Premier, who happens to be, we would refer to him as my bigger boss, because as he rightfully said, the RDA falls under the auspices of the Premier's office. So, good morning, Honorable Premier, and thank you for being here this morning. And a special good morning, DG Archer, for being here with us this morning, and Honorable Minister for Natural Resources. Honorable Flex, it's always a pleasure to see you joining us, not just as the Junior Minister for Trade and Economic Development, but as a proud representative of the people of Virgin Gorda, who again today is being granted the first place position with another contract. Premier, that's not to say that we have left the rest of the territory out, because I know you're a premier of the entire territory, and therefore we have to take care of the entire territory. So as the Director of Procurement said earlier, this week we intend to actually sign 3 contracts. This is the first of the 3, which is in regards to North Sound. And on Thursday, God spare life, we intend to relieve the people of the 1st District of some of its water woes, because we intend to sign contracts on Thursday for repairs of 2 reservoirs, one at Zion Hill and the other at Carrot Bay. So, Premier, what I didn't get done for you as the PS in the Ministry of Communication and Works, I will try to make sure it happens as the interim CEO of the RDA. And good morning to the persons who are joining us live via social media. It is always a pleasure to welcome such a ceremony, and Chairman Mr. Robert McTavish and board members also wish all the best wishes and regards, and also to thank the Honorable Premier for allowing the RDA to spearhead the recovery of the territory with approximately $40 million worth of infrastructure investment over the next 18 to 24 months. And when I said that last week, it may have seemed as if it might be a dream or a pie in the sky. But last week we signed 3 contracts valued just under $4 million. And this week we intend to sign, 2 contracts last week. And this week we intend to sign 3 contracts that's going to be valued at approximately $3 million. So in the space of a week and a half, we would have signed contracts worth approximately $7 million into the economy. That being said, and as we have heard, we are effectively suffering the effects of COVID-19, and it is necessary that the internal engine of the economy continue to thrive and push to ensure that we're able to survive. So, contractor, while we're congratulating you on the hard work that you have done here, also bear in mind that you have a responsibility, not just as the representative of the Sister Island has spoken to, but I also remember the representative who being the Minister for Labor spoke about several hundred persons that are out of work. And it is through this sort of injection that we intend and we expect all of us to work together. The Premier and his team has done their part by providing the necessary funds. The RDA will do its part with the Ministry of Finance with getting these projects ready, developed, and into the market. And we expect contractors like yourselves and others to take on the necessary challenge to employ as many persons as possible to ensure that we all survive during this period. The RDA will also do a further part that we are responsible for doing based on our mandate from the government, and that is capacity building. We will next week be coming to Virgin Gorda because, Honorable Member, while it is good to see all the work going to Virgin Gorda, as you rightfully say, it's probably a shame that none of it has been won by a Virgin Gorda contractor. So we are going to be on Virgin Gorda next week providing training. Now, obviously, we have to respect the Minister of Health and the mandate of social distancing, which we will be doing. So we would like persons to register as early as possible so that we can actually plan the room, set it up, and ensure that we are all safe in the learning environment. As the Premier has said, we do not intend to walk backwards. It is important that we continue to propel forward with the recovery of the territory while keeping COVID-19 at bay, if not burying it altogether. That being the case, just to make sure that persons are aware of the opportunities that are to come. As I've said, we will be signing a further 2 contracts later this week. We will also be going out to tender shortly for road infrastructure works. These are all works that every single contractor on the island, in the territory, have an opportunity to bid on and win. Mr. Garway, it may seem as if he is doing well, but it is simply because, as the Premier said, he has put in the work. Trust me, he has put in the work. His team has attended every single training session that the RDA has had. Even when we have had them on the sister islands, he will take his team across to the sister islands to participate in it. So he has not been given a handout. He has worked for it. And just as he has worked for it, I am very, very certain there are many, many other contractors within the territory who can do just as good as Mr. Garraway. And I implore you to do just that, because we have approximately 19 projects to be executed over the next 18 to 24 months. And I do not think Mr. Garraway would have the resources or even the stamina to maintain 19 contracts over an 18 to 24-month period. So he will need help. So I ask you, local contractors, get involved, please. It is necessary, because without you, we will not be able to fully realize the dreams of the Virgin Islands. And while the Premier has spoken to building back the BVI by BVI, I would like to also say that a part of my dream and my aspiration is actually to have the BVI contractors exported. I think we have the capability and the ability to do such. Look at the structures around that we have built in the BVI with BVI hands. That being the case, it says to me that we have the ability to go outside of our borders. Premier, once you open the gates for us, eventually, we must ensure that we have the ability. They may not get back in right away, but they can go. We must ensure that we take the BVI to the next level. Just as we did with financial services, we have the ability to do the same with construction. And I think it is only upon us to do such. That being said, and bearing in mind the time of persons here and who are watching us via social media, I will not take too much more of your time, but to say to the contractor, congratulations. You put a very good bid package together. And as a result, you were the lowest responsive tenderer, which has led to this. Nonetheless, the RDA will continue to work with you hand in glove, because we have a responsibility now to deliver this project on time and within budget, and to the quality that is required of the people of this territory. And I think it comes right in there with your name, Quality Construction. Okay, that being said, thank you all very much. And Mr. Contractor, I now yield to yourself for your remarks before we go over to signing the contract. Thank you.